Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Abridged biography of Prophet Muhammad, praise and peace be upon him. Muqtasar Sir al-Rasul by Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab al-Tamimi, born 1115, died 1206 after Hijrah. Abdul Mutalib, the grandfather of Allah's Messenger. Abu Ishaq said, Abdul Mutalib was one of the leaders of Quraysh. He abided by covenants, created of noble character. He loved the poor and needy, and he made it his business to serve the Hajj pilgrims and to feed the people in times of disaster and to subdue the oppressors. He even used to feed wild animals and birds on the tops of the mountains. He had children, the eldest of whom was Al-Harith, who died during the lifetime of his father. Of the sons of Al-Harith, those who embraced Islam were Ubaidah, who was killed in the Battle of Badr, Rabi'a, Abu Sufyan, and Abdullah. Also among his sons was Zubair bin Abdul Muttalib, the full brother of Abdullah, who was the chief of Banu Hashim and Banu Abdul Muttalib during the Battle of Al-Fujjar, the oppressors, and a noble and a poet, but did not live to see Islam. Of his children, those who embraced Islam were Abdullah radiallahu anhu, who was martyred in the Battle of Ajnadain, Duba, Majal, Safiya, and Atika. Also among those of them who embraced Islam was Hamza bin Mutalib and Al-Abbas radiallahu anhum. Other sons include Abu Lahab, who died shortly after the Battle of Badr. His sons included Utayba, against whom the Prophet ﷺ invoked and who was killed by a wild animal. He had two sons, Utba and Mutab, who embraced Islam on the day of the conquest of Makkah. His daughters included Arwa, who was married by Karaz bin Rabi'a bin Habib bin Abdi Shams, and she bore him Amir and Arwa. Arwa married Afan bin Abil Asbi'as bin Umayyah, and she bore him Uthman. Then she was married again to Uqba bin Abi Mu'it, and she bore him Al-Walid bin Uqba, and she lived until the caliphate of her son Uthman radiallahu anhu. Also among his daughters was Bara bint Abdul Muttalib, the mother of Abu Salama bin Abdul Asad al-Makhzumi. Also among them was Atika, the mother of Abdullah bin Abi Umayyah. It was she who had a dream before the day of Badr regarding whether or not she embraced Islam. There is some dispute also. Also among them was Safiya, the mother of Zubair bin Al-Awam. She embraced Islam and brought to Medina. Arwa, the mother of family of Jash, Abdullah, Abu Ahmad, Ubaidullah, Zainab, and Hamna, the mother of Abdul Muttalib, whose name was Salma bint Zayd, from the tribe of Banu Najjar. His father Hashim bin Abd Manaf married her. Then he went to Asham, while she stayed with her family, having already given born him Abdul Muttalib, and he died in Gaza. And Abu Ruhim bin Abdul Uzza returned to Al-Madinah with his legacy and his wife. Salama gave birth to Abdul Muttalib, and she called him Shayba al-Hamd. He stayed as an honored guest among his maternal uncles, and when he was disputing with the other boys, he would say, the son of Hashim. One day a man from Quraysh heard him, and he said to his uncle Al-Mutalib, I passed by door of Bani Qillah, and I heard a boy claiming worship to your brother, and it is not fitting that a boy such as he should be abandoned far from home. So he set out for Al-Madinah in search of him, and when he saw him, his eyes flooded with tears, and hugged him, and said the following verses: I know Shayba and Banu Najjar have placed their sons around him with arrows ready to fire. I know his word among us, and his character and tears have poured forth from me for him like a torrential rain. Then he mounted him and behind him on his riding beast, and he said to him, O uncle, you must go to my mother. So he went to his mother and asked her to send the boy with him, but she refused. So he said to her, he is only going away to inherit the leadership of his father and to the sacred house of Allah. So she gave her permission for him to go, and he took him to Makkah, where the people said, This is Abdul Muttalib. But he replied, Who to you? He is the only son of my brother Hashim. He remained living with them until he had grown, and then he was given the leadership of Banu Hashim, including the affairs of the house, feeding the Hajj pilgrims, providing water for them, the affairs of the Hajj pilgrims, and other matters. Al-Mutalib was noble, obeyed by his people, and generous, and Quraysh called him Al-Fayyad, the beautiful, the bountiful, due to his generosity. And it was he who contracted the alliance between Quraysh and the Negus, and his sons included Al-Harith, Mukrama, Ibad, Anis, Abu Umar, Abu Rahim, and others. When he died, Nawfal bin Abdul Manaf usurped Shayba's office of judgeship between the families, taking it unlawfully from him. He asked some men from Quraysh for their help, but they said, "We will not intervene between you and your uncle." So he wrote to his maternal uncle, his uncles from Banu an-Najjar, the following poetic verses: "How long are my nights due to sadness and worry? Is there a messenger who will take my case as to an-Najjar, my uncles, Banu Adi, Dinar, Mazin, and Malik, to protect me from the confusion of my situation? With them I did not fear injustice from any wrongdoer, for I was beloved and protected, and I lived as a carefree life until I traveled to my people, and my uncle Mutalib, my uncle Mutalib upset me by taking me there. And when my uncle was absent in the deep shadow of death, then no fool appeared and seized my property. When he saw a man whose paternal uncles stayed away, and whose maternal uncles were far away, leaving him without any protector, so come and remove this injustice from the son of your sister, and do not leave him, for I know you will not leave me. When Abu Sa'id bin Adi bin An-Najjar read his letter, he wept and set out from Al-Madinah at the head of 80 riders and rode until he reached Mecca. Then he stopped at Al-Abta, and Abdul Talib met him there and said to him, "Let us go to my house, O my uncle." But his uncle replied, "No, by Allah, not until I meet Nawfal." He said, "I left him sitting with some old men from his tribe by the black stone." So Abu Sa'id went on until he stood before them. Nawfal stood up and said to him, "O Abu Sa'id, Allah has blessed the morning." He replied, Allah has not blessed the morning for you. And he drew his sword and said, "By the Lord of this house, if you do not return to my sister's son what you have taken from him, I will kill you with this sword." He said, "I have returned it to him." And he called upon the old men of Quraysh to write witness his words. Then he went to Shayba and stayed in his house for 3 days. After that, he performed Umrah and returned to Al-Madinah. And Abdul Talib said, "Mazim, Abu Adi, and Dinar ibn Taymila rejected the injustice against me. Through them, Allah returned to me my rights, and their relationship to me was from outside my tribe." When this happened, Nawfal made alliance between Banu Abdi Shams bin Abdi Manaf and Banu Hashim, and Banu Hashim made alliance between Khuza and Banu Abdi Shams and Nawfal. And this is the cause of the conquest of Makkah, as we shall see. And when Khuza saw the support of Banu an-Najjar for Abdul Muttalib, they said, "We gave birth to him as you did, and it is more rightful that we should support him." This was because the mother of Abdul Manaf was one of them. So they entered the meeting hall and made alliance and wrote a document between them.